Kyle Shanahan from Friday after the 49ers played the Chargers in their last preseason game. The two things to me that stuck out is...
I think I could guess one of them.
I thought he did what he did, and that he did his best to put it behind him. He said, I feel like I let Trey down. What more do you want him to say? That was Kyle Shanahan. And then the other thing that I kind of thought got lost there is he said, we gave Trey every chance to beat out Sam Darnold.
Man.
Like, that makes it sound like they would have preferred that Trey Lance be the number 2, but it was obvious that Darnold was the number 2. And then at that point,
they knew.
You can't do that to the team at that point. So I said this Friday when this all came out. Just get out in front of it. Say you kind of made a mistake. You don't have to say you made a mistake, but you infer you made a mistake, and you wish it turned out differently. And the best of Trey, he did all that, dotted his I's, crossed his T's, and now it's time to move on.
Yeah, and you know what I'm going to do, Steiny? I'm going to give Bonte and Kyle an apology, and you, because I told you I heard this. I didn't hear all of this in its entirety. I didn't hear him say about the race. He thought the reason Warner was approached on the field by the press, if you care, but we talked about it Friday, how much of a bad look that was, is if we take Kyle at his word, he thought the radio show was going to go off as it was, and there was no baseball game, and that was going to be out. That's one. And two, I would have just followed up, Steiny, because nobody can ignore this. Why do you feel you let Trey down? Is it because you used him as a running back when he was healthy? And at that point, anointed the next? Like, I will never apologize for me being offended the way that Kyle was using Trey. But now that it's all said and done, Steiny, I think he was using him that way because he didn't like what he was seeing with the arm and the reads. So that was telling us something. It was off. Yeah. But that was as real as you can get. He said, I let him down. We messed up. But again, if I mess up again in my life, Steiny, probably today, I would love to be in Kyle's situation in the Niners to where what you got to look forward to. You like, there's really no price to pay right now, but set C's on this quest to win your 5th.
888-957-9570 is the number. You just took a listen to the entire Kyle Shanahan press conference from Friday night. A lot of you, I'm sure, haven't heard the whole thing. I just listened to the whole thing earlier today. It's pretty interesting. It's a little bit different of a Kyle Shanahan as far as I'm concerned. And, we talk about accountability, and a lot of people say, well, why can't you hold Kyle responsible or hold him accountable? I think he is being held accountable. Now, you can't hold him accountable now because we're starting the season. And the 49ers have had success 3 out of the last 4 years.
Yep.
So let's see how this season goes. Let's see how the quarterback position goes. And then, in 2 years, if there's still instability at quarterback, maybe that's the time that you revisit this situation and say, well, now it's been 8-9 years. What's the quarterback situation? But for right now, I think Kyle Shanahan did as good a job as he could to put it behind him. They got Pittsburgh coming up in less than 2 weeks.
Let's go.
And let's see what happens.
NFL football's back, Steiny. I know I'm the extremist on the show, but two guys came to mind, Bob Myers and Steve Kerr, that when I hear them talk, I like them more, even though I don't agree with everything that comes out of their mouth. My takeaway is when it's over, I feel like you learned something about them. They were honest. That's big to me. This is going to be extreme. Has your opinion of Kyle changed after hearing that?
No, not really. I think he had to kind of fall on the sword a little bit. I didn't know. I feel like it was the easiest thing to do.
Or only thing to do too, right?
Or he could have just kind of ignored it and talked down to the people who were asking him questions, and he could have downplayed the whole situation. When he said, hey, we took our shot, it didn't work out, I didn't really think that was downplaying the situation.
That's interesting.
So I feel like, look, he's a smart guy. All he had to do was get up there and say, you know what, it didn't work out.
All right.
It didn't work out. And we still think we got a great team. We still think we can win the Super Bowl. To me, it was a bare minimum.
How about you, Evan?
Bare minimum.
Evan, did anything change?
But good for him.
Anything? I know we're up against it. Did anything change? for you?
No, I mean, I think for the first time in a while, we heard an honest and vulnerable Kyle Shanahan.
That's the word.
But I also felt like he had the capacity for that. Just in the past, had always chosen to not share that with the media. So it was refreshing from that sense.
Damn, Spadoni. I mean, that's interesting. Steiny, Spadoni. Well, what do you think with Whippersnap? Is he back there?
Yeah, he's back there.
Oh, all right.
He's working hard.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, he's back there. He's
Just
back
the
there.
four of us.
I mean,
That's interesting. Vulnerable, Steiny. I like that.
How hard is it to put your tail between your legs when you have to?
Oh, when you talking to
It
me?
can be hard.
I made a mistake.
I stink.
It's the easiest thing in the world to do.
Dude, what shirt is that?
And everybody's open-minded to a guy's apology.
Yeah,
so
welcome
that's why
to
it's
America.
Hey, well, what's he going to get up there and say? Let me tell you,
Trey wanted out.
3 years ago, we made what I thought was the greatest pick in 49er history. This kid got in here, and I can't tell you how much he stunk. He fooled our scouts. He fooled our organization.
He fooled you.
Exactly. I mean, but there was no other way to do it except to say,
Look, fellas, I apologize.
there you go.
Hey, wow.
He didn't
I
quite
like
say
it.
that, but
Goody.
he doesn't have to apologize for a pick. But
I saw Shasky's tweet about this being the worst trade in franchise history. I was talking to Abanyas yesterday. He called me. And he said it's Charles Haley, Steiny, going to your competitor and winning 2 Super Bowls. But that was different. It was like Draymond Poole. He had to be out of here because he wasn't acting right.
yeah, and I just can't help but think two things. One is the one place where I don't believe the 49ers. I do not believe that they think Trey Lance is going to still be a good player. You don't trade him to the Dallas Cowboys if you think for 1 minute that he could turn into a heck of a player. I don't think.
And that's a place where they're not going to – they can't prop up their supposed get him better. So what the hell they get – like I feel bad for Lance that he's in Dallas. If Kyle couldn't get you ready, Steiny, I'm so drunk on Kyle in that vein that I'm like, man, now you still can show us and prove us wrong, but man.
And the other thing to me that this shows is I don't think it's more pressure on Brock Purdy. He's going to have pressure to win. Every quarterback does. But this does mean something for Kyle Shanahan as his future unfurls here in the Bay. I mean, if the 49ers have another great season and Brock Purdy's the real deal, this will probably be able to get glossed over.
Yeah.
But if something happens this year and the 49ers don't have success and their quarterback position isn't one of strength, then it's going to be talked about, and at that point, it's going to be fair game.